Let's talk about the personal credit cards with high limits. So if you're looking for a personal credit card this year with the highest limits, you will enjoy this list. So the first card I want to share with you is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And so basically, this is a wonderful card with high limits. And we've seen cases where people were approved for up to $100,000. Okay, $100,000. And so this is best for luxury travel. So the Chase Sapphire Reserve card terms and conditions claims that the card offers a minimum credit limit of $10,000 and a maximum that we have seen so far of $100,000. Somebody has one viewer has reached out to us saying that she has a $250,000 on her Chase Sapphire Reserve, but we were not able to independently verify that. But what we could verify was that we have seen several people who actually qualified for $100,000. Okay, but the minimum credit limit here is $10,000. However, you will need excellent credit to qualify for this premium card. Not to mention the fact that it includes a high annual fee of $550, so $550. So this is really important to keep in mind. And but you'll get a number of perks, rewards, and benefits in exchange, which should really help you to offset the cost of carrying the card in the first place. So what are the pros and cons of this card here? Let's talk about that. So the pros, you have a generous set of travel protection benefits. They really pair really well with the card's rewards, rates, and redemption bonuses for travel purchases using Chase Travel. And you also have a $300 travel credit that offsets more than half of the card's annual fee each account anniversary. And in terms of FICO score, basically, if you have an existing relationship with Chase, with Chase Bank, the bank, you could actually get by with 650. So even though the card's terms and conditions say you need to have excellent credit, if you have an existing relationship with Chase, 650 should be good to go. You should be able to get in. So those are the pros of the card. What about the cons? Well, while this card has lounge access, it lacks access to a variety of top luxury airport lounges and hotel perks that you can find on other premium travel cards. And also another drawback of the card is that its sign-up bonus pales in comparison to welcome offers on competing cards. Another card I want to share with you is the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. And this card actually is best for travel also. The first one was best for luxury travel. This one is just great for regular travel, okay? If you have, same thing, if you have an existing relationship with Chase, you could actually get by with 650 as a FICO score minimum. So the Chase Sapphire Preferred card starts off with a credit limit of at least $5,000 as outlined in the card's terms and conditions. And we have viewers who actually reached out to us and proved to us that they have at least $75,000 in credit limit on this card. And this card also has the same welcome bonus as the Sapphire Reserve, making it a much more appealing option for anyone hesitant on the Reserve card's high annual fee. Although you'll still have a $95 annual fee with a preferred card, the rewards you earn are truly versatile. So this is a good win-win here. So what are the pros and cons here? First, the advantages. So you have generous rewards rates for travel and everyday categories, which really make it a great card for leveraging routine expenses into a travel redemption strategy. And the card offers a valuable rewards for redemptions using the issuer's travel portal despite its relatively low annual fee. So the annual fee once again is $95. What about some of the cons here? Well, its annual fee may be difficult to offset if you don't redeem your rewards for travel using the issuer's portal. Okay, and the card actually lacks also an introductory APR for purchases and balance transfers, two benefits that really offer a generous reprieve from mounting interest rates. So this is one of those cards where you have to really know what you want, right? Otherwise, you can't really use the card favorably to use the card to your advantage. But one thing for sure, if you have an existing relationship with Chase, you are going to get this card and get a relatively decent credit limit. Next, you have the Capital One Saver One Cash Rewards. And so this card is great for everyday purchases. And the Capital One Saver One Cash Rewards credit card offers a potentially high credit limit, though the issuer doesn't publish information about it. However, users and some of our viewers have reported starting credit limits of $10,000. And this card actually comes also with no annual fee, making it one of the more affordable cards for good to excellent credit. And it's a boosted cash back rates, intro APR periods, and cardholder benefits make it one of the best cards for just about anyone, really, when you think about it. So what are the pros and cons of this card here? The pros first, you will not be pressured to overspend because there is no need to offset an annual fee with cashback earnings. This is really good because that's what I was just telling you. This card is great for everyday purchases. There is no calculation in terms of you're trying to really mitigate the mounting annual fee, at least offset it. And also its intro APR offers can really help you avoid interest while you whittle down debt or pay off new purchases. Remember, we are speaking about and the intro APR can really depend upon your credit worthiness, but it can go to 0% APR for 12 months or 15 months. What about the cons here? When we think about personal credit cards with high limits, we love the fact that this card is the Capital One Saver One Cash Rewards is a great card. However, one of its best rewards rate is actually for purchases made using Capital One Travel, which can really limit the flexibility you have when booking reservations. And one thing for sure also, and this is something for those viewers who like to track rewards, the value of cashback is often consistent, but points earning cards typically have a higher ceiling for the value of your rewards. So this is something to really think about before getting this card in the first place. Next, you have Pedal 2 Cashback No Fees Visa. And this card is actually great when it comes to higher limits if you have no credit history. And so if you're just getting started with credit, you may want to look into the Pedal 2 Cashback No Fees Visa credit card. So this card actually comes with a minimum credit limit of $300 and a maximum limit of $10,000. This is really, really, really good. I mean, we love this Delta because especially if you are a newbie to the whole credit thing, having a potential limit of 10,000 is just really fantastic. Of course, you won't know the credit limits you will receive until after your application has been reviewed and approved. And this card also comes with very few fees. So if you have no credit history or need, let's say, a forgiving card that won't burden your balance with added charges, this can be a great card for learning the ropes. So the card again is Pedal 2 Cashback No Fees Visa. So what are the pros and cons of this card here? Let's quickly dig a little deeper here. You have one of the most accessible cards for building credit because it doesn't require credit history, especially because you also have the ability to spend the card in a contactless manner. And the card offers rewards, which are really rare for credit building cards. Think about it. This is really, and again, I need to insist on the fact that this card is actually unsecured. In other words, you don't have to put down any deposits. So what are the cons of this card here? Well, the card actually has its incentive-based reward structure requires on-time payments for a full year before you can maximize your earnings. So this requires discipline then, okay? And its highest credit limit may not be available for people with no credit history or poor credit. So the $10,000 that I'm just telling you a little earlier, this $10,000 may not be available to you if you have no credit history. So this is something to really think about. especially if you're planning your strategy around cards for high limits. Next, you also have the Capital on Tap Business Credit Card. Of course, we're speaking about personal credit cards with high limit, but this card is actually great, especially if you are a small business owner. So if you're a business owner in search of a high limit business credit card, look no further than the Capital on Tap Business Credit Card. And the cool thing is that you have the chance to secure a credit limit as high as $50,000, which is really perfect for those in need of significant purchasing power, but without a hefty annual fee to match. So if you consider yourself a responsible cardholder and do the kind of spending that would require a high credit limit, this business card is a solid option. And so what are the pros and cons of this card here? Let's quickly go through the pros and cons first. So the pros, this business card does not charge an annual fee or a foreign transaction fee, and you will not impact your personal credit score with an application. So the important thing to remember here is that this card actually wants to make sure, Capital on Tap Business Credit Card wants to make sure that you have a solid financial profile. And so you got to really, the card has a no personal guarantee, of course, but you got to provide a certain financial statements. So you might have to provide your P&L, your company's P&L, and also your tax returns for that matter. So this is an important thing to remember. So what about the cons of this card here? Now, the welcome bonus spending requirements is quite high. And the card's actually variable APR can go up to 36% based on your credit worthiness. But one thing I want to say here is that this card actually is great because it allows you to actually consolidate your your business expenses on a card that actually does not require a personal guarantee. So this is kind of cool. So you're able to actually segregate your personal expenses from your business expenses. But in terms of a personal credit card with high limits, this card, you can actually use it if you're a solopreneur. Let's say you are a solopreneur or you're a sole proprietorship with various business interests. You will love this card because they are also open to solopreneurs. The only thing is they might ask you, depending on your circumstances, to actually have an EIN. So to apply for an EIN, an employer identification number. So normally solopreneurs don't need an EIN, but in some cases it might make sense to actually request one from the IRS, and it's cheap though. I mean, it's free. Not even cheap, it's free. So what are the considerations here? When we talk about the personal credit cards with high limits, it's important to understand that there are reasons why you might want to have a high limit card. So high limit credit cards can be more risky than your average credit card, since they make it easy to rack up higher level of credit card debt. And so the current average credit card APR is slightly over 20%. So you should be really cautious of using a high limit credit card to pile on debt as if it were a loan. However, high limit credit cards make it very easy to keep your credit utilization low, which is a key scoring metric. Remember, your CUR, your credit utilization ratio, accounts for 30% of your credit score. So if you keep your credit utilization below 30%, you can keep your score on the rise. So with this in mind, if you're building credit, then you might be especially interested in the Pedal 2 card. But if you already have excellent credit and pay off your cards regularly, a high limit card simply gives you more purchasing power. So how do you choose a high limit credit card? I mean, first of all, you have to decide what you want. Decide if you want to earn rewards, as well as what type of rewards you want. If your goal is to earn rewards with a credit card, you should decide ahead of time which types of rewards you want to earn. Compare cards based on the type of rewards they offer to find the one that matches your spending and redeeming strategies. And so that's the first thing you want to have. So you want to decide if you want to earn rewards, as well as what type of rewards you want. Next, you want to check for cardholder perks if you're actually in that category, but the perks that you will actually use. Make sure the cards you are considering offer the perks you want, because there has to be a sync between the offer that you have from the card and what you want. And so that might mean what? It might mean airport lounge access, travel or dining credits, no foreign transaction fees, or a credit for global entry or TSA pre-check, all popular credit card perks. And you also want to compare and contrast annual fees. Keep in mind that the cards with the most perks and rewards tend to charge higher annual fees overall. So if you want a card but it has a high annual fee, make sure that the benefits you receive will be worth it. You don't want to get stuck with a costly membership you can't justify. And you also want to consider interest rates and 0% intro APR offers. So you shouldn't use a high credit limit to actually rack up debt. Make sure you understand your credit card's interest rate and how it compares to the current national average, as well as how it compares to the interest rates of personal loans, because you got to always look at the compatibility between your loans, your loan potential APR, and the APR the credit card is charging you. And if you know you need to carry a balance, you should look into a 0% APR credit card or one with a low ongoing APR. So high limit credit cards can be useful if you spend a lot each month, but long-term debt can hurt your credit score and curtail your lifestyle beyond like a number of years to come. Let me give you the strategy you need to really think about here. Bottom line here is that when we talk about personal credit cards with high limits, you got to have a clear idea of what you want, right? High limits credit cards offer the potential for significant purchasing power, that's for sure. But it's also important to consider your credit history, income, and spending habits before applying. However, it's kind of crucial to be mindful of your credit utilization and avoid accruing and maintain you do not want to accrue a mountain of debt simply because you have purchasing power. The question is, why do you need the card in the first place? Is it because of prestige or swag, or just you need it? Okay. And so the tips that I really share with you in today's conversation can help you choose a card that aligns with your needs. But you want to research each card that interests you and how it compares with its closest alternatives. Remember that while the initial credit limits may not always be what you hoped for, you can always request an increase from your card issuer. Of course, this means what? It means you have to use the card responsibly, that's for sure. And also you have to actually try to build a relationship with a card issuer. So in other words, you got to be with them for a while. And it's important to understand that there is no normal credit limit for a credit card, although your income and credit score will help determine how much credit you qualify for. What's considered normal largely depends on your credit history and cards you qualify for. For example, if you're a student interested in your first credit card, a normal credit limit range might be $200 to $1,000. If you have bad credit to fair credit, that range might be $100 to $500. For good to very good credit, you might receive a credit limit of $2,500 to $10,000. And if you have excellent credit and a high income, you could receive a credit limit that's much higher than $10,000. So it's really dependent upon your situation. And so the highest credit limit offer depends on the card itself. You have issuers that can go all the way to $100,000, even though the average goes to $30,000 to $50,000. Okay, and it really depends. Again, going back to what I said, it depends on the relationship you have established with the issuer. So to determine how high of a credit limit you'll need or will ideally like to have, you will need to pay attention to how much you spend every month. You want a credit limit that's at least 3 to 4 times your monthly spending, since you should always keep your credit utilization below 30%. So for example, if you have a credit limit of $10,000, you should keep your bill under $3,000 every month. If you need to charge more than $3,000 on your card, you can always pay part of your bill or the entire bill immediately to keep your credit utilization low. If you use a significant amount of the credit available to you or max out, let's say, your credit limit, you will likely experience a drop in your credit score. That's for sure. So what are the closing arguments here? In today's conversation, I'll share with you the personal credit cards with high limits. So the list, I give you the list, the consideration, the strategy, and now the closing arguments. The list, you have Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Capital One, Saver One Cash Rewards, the Pedal 2 Cashback No Fees Visa, and the Capital On Tap Business Credit Card. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.